Hey y'all, it's your thrifty practitioner Tara. How are you guys doing today? I hope this video finds you well. I want to thank you guys for being here. New subscribers, old subscribers, people just passing through. I want to thank everybody for being here, checking out my videos, and also today seeing what I have to offer. Not that hard, you can tell from the title in this. We're gonna learn how to do a quick start budget today. Something that is just easy to get started, no frills, no thrills, nothing like that. Just something to help you get a hold of your cash flow and just kind of, one, gain control of it, two, understand what's going on, three, make some adjustments, okay, as needed. And these things that I will show you are just tools to help you in that process. And I want to let you know that to get started, all you need is a writing utensil. I'm going to say you should have a pencil. I use pen, but I use also a lot of whiteout. I don't want you to have to spend a lot of money on doing this, but I do suggest this have a writing utensil. You can get whiteout from the dollar store for like $1.25 if you want to use a pen, but a pencil would be good. And paper. All you need is a notebook. You don't need, you can get a composition notebook. I know a lot of people like that. I prefer to have the bigger notebooks. I like bigger pieces of paper, usually college rule, which is smaller, but this is okay as well. This is wide rule in a notebook form because look, it stays all together for you. And that way, as you move through the month, you can move back and forth and it's attached, no problem. So you're like, Tara, why do I want a quick start budget? Why do I need a budget? Well, one of the things is, y'all, it's the holidays. And around about the holidays, you know what happens? People overspend. People spend a lot of their money during the holidays and they don't really keep track of what's going on. Then what occurs is come January, you are struggling to play catch up. I've done this game before many a times. You're trying to hurry up to get your taxes done so you can get a refund if you know you normally get a refund. Or you're robbing Peter to pay Paul until March, which is about when everything kind of settles out. And it's kind of like, that's a stressful situation, guys. It's stressful. And we have got to stop putting ourselves in a lot of these mental situations, especially financially, when we can handle it from jump. And I know you're like, Tara, it's mid-month. It's okay. You can start anytime with your budget. Anytime with your budget. I know in other videos, I usually say if you have a consistent budget that you should at least have it done by the third day of the month. But right about now, this is for people that just need a quick start, a do-over or whatever, reset, whatever you want to call it. We just need a quick budget. So let's go ahead. Let's get started. This is my hypothetical person. I'm going to flip this over real quick, guys. So you guys, well, look at that. That's not what I wanted. Anyway, because you can see it on the back. I didn't want you guys to have to see all that. So once again, we have this November quick start budget. And what you're going to do is you're going to start off with writing down all of your income sources. What money do you have coming in to your house that is mostly reoccurring, okay, and you utilize towards all of your expenses? So in this particular example, this person, they have a wage. Let me see if I can zoom you guys in a little bit. And always write down your dates, guys. Always write down your dates. So in this example, this person has wages. They get paid on the 1st of the month, the 15th, and the 29th. You'll see why I have that X'd out. Okay. This person gets paid $1,235.65 net. That's after all deductions out of their paycheck. Okay. And so in this particular example, we decided, hey, we're not going to count the 29th towards our, we're not going to count the 29th paycheck towards November. And the reason why we're not going to is because it's at the end of the month and it is going to go into the next month to help us with the next month's bill. Now that's our plan. Once again, this is a budget. A budget is a plan. When you start implementing it, it can change. Just remember that your budget is a plan. Once you start implementing, it can change. All right. So that gives this person $2,471.30 for the month with wages. They also receive child support on the 8th and the 22nd of $150. So that's going to be $300. So altogether, their income is $2,771.30 for the month. Now, in here is going to go, like I said, any income you receive, alimony, distributions, maybe you receive your late spouse's retirement, all of that stuff goes in there for the month, as long as you utilize that for your expenses, okay? Because remember, we're getting a hold of it. The next thing that you want to write down, this is step 2. You want to write down your recurring essential cost and their due dates as well. So what's an essential cost? I go by, or essential expense, I go by Dave Ramsey. Dave says there's 4 walls. In those 4 walls, you have housing, utilities, transportation, and groceries. Okay, let's say that again. 4 walls: housing, utilities, transportation, and groceries. For groceries, I divide that into 3. It is groceries, household, and personal care. If you have a pet, you can put pet care in there. I like to put pet care in with my groceries, okay? Because it's food. It goes between groceries and household or personal. And household and personal are very basic. Not other personal stuff like you'll see later on, but personal as in hygiene. Hygiene personal, okay? That's what we're talking about, hygiene. So let's go ahead and let's go down. As we see, this person for housing, can you see that, guys? Yes. For housing, they have a mortgage. You're going to have mortgage or rent, okay? And so you write that down. The due date, some of us like, my mortgage is due on the 1st, but there's a grace period. Some of us utilize that grace period. My husband doesn't, I do. I utilize a grace period. So if you know that you have a grace period, then put this day the day before the end of the grace period, because that's your very last day you can utilize to pay it on time without penalty, and to make sure that there's no issues if you pay it via ACH, like it comes straight out of your account or on a card or whatever you utilize, it's there. It has time to process and get posted. So same thing here. It'll include your HOA fees. Other things it'll include is if you rent and you have to pay renter's insurance, that's going to go there. That's an essential. A lot of leases are requiring people to have renter's insurance now. In addition, if you own a house and you decided not to do escrow, so you have to pay monthly or hold back monthly property taxes and home insurance, that'll go here as well. If you have an escrow, you don't put that here, because your home insurance and your property taxes is already calculated in your mortgage payment. The other thing that would go here as well would be, once again, basically that's it. This is essentials. So your yard work's not essential. Your maid is not essential. Those things aren't essential. This is, I have to have this in order to live, or or go with the place where I live. Otherwise, somebody can put a lien against it, or somebody can put me out. Okay. If you don't have that made, they ain't going to put you out. Next things we're going to do is utilities. Okay. There you go. You can see I'm trying to straighten this up, guys. Utilities are a little different. All right. Utilities occur, once again, they're reoccurring monthly. And you want to write those down, and you want to put the dates. Everybody doesn't have the same utilities depending upon where you live. Some people, like I said, if you live in a house, you pretty much have all of them. If you live in an apartment, you may not pay certain ones like water and garbage and sewer. You may not pay that, okay? If you live in a condo, you probably do pay that. If if you're renting a house from somebody, you probably are responsible for those things. So you're going to write down your electric and the due date, gas, water. In this particular example, the water's not due. It's every other month. So this is not the month that it was due. Okay. If you want, you can go ahead and budget for it. Some people do. Some people just pay it as it comes. Okay. Usually the water is pretty decent unless you have a leak. It's usually low, so it's manageable. The next thing is garbage. Some people have to pay for trash pickup. Some people, it's included in their with their water sewer bill. Also sewer. Some people have to pay sewer separate. Where I live, we have a reclamation fee. So 1 month, well, every month we seem to have water, but every other month, or however they bill this, we have sewer. Okay. So then your telephone. I consider a cell phone an essential utility. Some people do not. To me, it is. Telephone's always essential. I know it gets cut off, but all these other things get cut off too. But it is essential, okay? And then internet. Internet's a toss-up. Internet by itself, isn't that crazy? This is how much it can cost. It's $130 for this person. And it's the internet services, okay, for like high speed, whatever. Sometimes individuals have their cable bundled in with it, and cable is really entertainment. And it is honestly, it is non-essential and it's not important because it's just for entertainment, okay? But internet sometimes is important. You need it for various things. Your kids may need it or whatever. So you can put that up here in the utilities. Now, the next we have transportation. This individual has a car payment. Let me go back up into utilities. Usually for utilities, this is it. You very seldom have any other type of utility. One thing I do include in this though is extra storage for my phone. I put it up here. That is it. As I pay for extra storage on my phone, I put it here. But if I pay for a streaming service, you know, through my phone or some sort of Apple Pay for something else, it goes down to entertainment. All right. So now we have transportation. This person has a car payment. They have car insurance that they pay monthly. Or if you save monthly to pay it every 6 months, this is what you're going to do. You have to account for that. You need it in order to drive your car if you're responsible. And fuel. Fuel is varied. However, it is a recurring expense and you need it in order to drive your car to get to work. So that is what you write down for transportation. And then lastly, we have what I talk about as groceries. Like I said, I take care of my 4 walls. Groceries, I include groceries, pet care, and that basic pet care. That's food and like I have cats, food, litter, your dogs, food, and whatever else you have for a dog. This is not that extra stuff. This is not, what do you call that? It's not the cute little collars, things like that. This is just essential basics to survive. Okay. So there's $300 for food, $150 for basic household goods, cleaning supplies, brooms, mops, things like that that you need. Basic household, not decorations or anything like that, just basic household. And then also personal care. Personal care is hygiene. I'm going to write that here. Personal care is more hygiene. And when we think of hygiene, you know, hygiene is for, it's mouthwash, toothpaste, toothbrushes to go with that, soap, things to wash your hair with, those basic personal care needs, sanitary napkins, things like that, basic needs, okay? So with that, for this individual in this, our total essentials are $28.64. This poor child, this person in this example is already in the negative. But it's okay. This is what scares people about writing budgets. We're going to continue on. We have to, guys. We have to continue on because at the end of the day, we're doing a quick start budget. We got to keep going. We can't allow, I'm moving this out the way. We cannot allow things like that to scare us because we need to get a full picture of what's going on in our house, in our cash flow, or with our cash flow. Next, you're going to write down your non-essential but important. Non-essentials but important are medical, like your prescriptions you have to have monthly, childcare. Maybe you have tithes. Some people consider tithes essential. I'm not going to make that decision for you. I do not challenge anyone's religion. So if you feel it's essential, then you put it up here. However, if you're like, you know what, yeah, that's not really essential for me, I'm going to put it down here in the non-essentials but important. That goes down there. So those types of things, gym memberships, unless you feel like you can close it out. Those type of things go down here in non-essential but important. So for this individual here, and you'll see what else I have, this person has before and after school care for their child, $75 every week. And this is how much it is, $225. And they pay every Wednesday. So we're still writing down the dates. They pay every Wednesday, okay? There's also student loan. If you pay a student loan, you're going to put that date down. Right now, this person's student loan's in deferment. This individual, you want to put your debt here because it's not an essential, but it's still important. So the debt, they have a credit card. They pay a monthly $75 minimum payment. They have Klarna and also Afterpay. All right. So when you see this, this person has additional expense of $340. And these are, I call nebbies. Once again, they're non-essential but important. So that's the total. Okay. Now, the last thing that you're going to do, so you have your income. Okay. You have your recurring essential expenses. Okay. You have your non-essential but important. And the last thing that you're going to have that's on here are your non-essentials and not important. This category is hard for people because this is where everybody considers everything important, and in reality, these are things that we can live without. We can live without these things because once again, we're putting this budget down because our goal is to see if something's off, what can we adjust. So on here, in this example, it's Hulu and Netflix. Those are the only two things. But it can include things such as dining out, other subscriptions, streaming services, luxury personal items, because some people may, hey, I don't like Revlon, but I'm going to go over here and get Kim Kardashian, beauty products, or I always get Fenty. Whatever it is that you buy, it's like, that's really, it's not essential and it's not important. I know you think it is, but it's not. So it would go here, okay? Dining out is one of those big things that need to go here. And that's why I put dining, because dining out is not essential and it is not important. I know people are like, well, I have this, and this to do. Y'all, I don't know what happened to crock pots and Instapots. Man, they were a thing before the pandemic, but those are things to utilize, But anywho, so back to here, we got $25 in that. So now what we're going to do is we take all of that. What you're going to do is you take your income, you're going to subtract out all of these expenses. And the reason why I have the brackets, that lets me know to subtract, okay? So let me take this out a little bit. Oops. Well, I'll put it in a little bit. So what you're going to do is, this person is at a deficit of $458.20 a month, or for this month, okay? And that's without anything else going on. One of the things that will help you with this is understanding ending balance should be zero. Your ending balance should be zero. If you have a zero balance, then it helps you to go back and adjust many of these things so that you are able to get to zero, so that you're able to make sure everything's covered. So here's one of the things that you can do. Just kind of go through here. Where can I make adjustments? One of the places where an adjustment is going to more than likely be made is going to be here. This is $600 worth between groceries, household, and personal care. And I know individuals, that's usually where we make our cuts, honestly. That's usually where we make our cuts, because a lot of these other things we're like, hey, we have to do this, we have to do this. I can't tell you how to pay your debt. I know a person would need childcare. You got to get to work. But this is where more than likely you would make your adjustments in your budget, would be here in your groceries, household, and your personal. And you'd be surprised. You probably don't need to go to the grocery store as often as you think, because you have food in the refrigerator, especially if you keep buying food and you don't have, you keep buying food and you have food in there that you haven't really cooked. Household basics, that's your cleaning supplies and stuff. When you look at basic stuff, you more than likely have cleaning supplies that you don't have to buy household things. You're looking at also possibly, I like to consider toilet paper, personal care. We're in the U.S., so we use toilet paper. I know we don't have bidets. We don't use rags and stuff. We use toilet paper. So personal care, household and personal care, that's where you can, reassess your toilet paper. Maybe you're going to pay a little less for toilet paper this month. Household, maybe we're not going to use paper towels. We're just going to use rags this month. Whatever it is that you can adjust. This is where more than likely you're able to make up that money. Okay. But our goal is to adjust our balance to this is zero. Okay. Now, another thing that helps is if you also chart or plot this on a calendar, on an undated calendar. So I'm going to show you. It's going to look busy, so I apologize. Okay, so this is our November quick start. So when you actually look at this, when you look at everything that is on here, with the exception, I got a lot of stuff, I apologize. Everything that's on here, that's here, is on here, okay? So for example, let me zoom in a little bit. For example, you'll see that I included this GHP is groceries, household, and personal. So I did those after payday. That's when people normally do it. They go after payday for those things. And then also the paydays, got those on there. And also when we get the extra income, I put those, if you color code it, it helps you out. Color coding really, really helps you out. It helps you identify a couple of things. One, look at that, your paydays. I'm able to see, okay, I get paid on these days. I'm getting money on these days. Two, my essentials are in orange. Once I get used to my color coding system, I know when I look at this, everything that's in orange, that's when these essential things are due. My non-essentials but importance, that's when the money's going to come out, okay? And my non-essentials not important, that's when those are going to come out. And I can look at my paydays and follow what's after it. Some people actually write the amount on here. I particularly don't, but if you feel comfortable writing the amount on there so that you'll know and you can figure it out real quick in your head, then that's good. Do that if that helps you, okay? But it lets you know when things are due. So that way, as you're looking at this sheet, even though we're going this way, you can say, okay, let me look at this. All right, I noticed that, let's see, on this payday, this credit card's due and I'm going to go grocery shopping. So I still have this pay to cover that, even though this is going to cover some bills into the next month, okay? Child support's going to go to cover this, a little bit of this, all right? And then I don't have a lot that's covering, well, actually my payday here is going to cover my car payment, the garbage payment, electric, gas, and my groceries, household, and personal when I go grocery shopping. So it kind of lets you know, okay, that this one will cover that, whereas this one just allows you to list it and you make adjustments accordingly, all right? So the next thing that I encourage individuals to do that I know a lot of people don't do is to actually write your transactions down. Track your actual spending. It makes a big difference, and I want to show you. So here we go, and we'll use the calendar portion for this. So for this example, the person, even though the payday's on the 1st, it actually hit their bank, because we all know some people, it hits their bank the day before. It actually hit the bank on that Friday, okay? And so y'all, and I that should be Sunday to Monday, so don't pay attention. I apologize. Anyway, I thought I pronounced Sunday to Saturday, I'm sorry. And actually, the 1st of this month fell on a Friday. Oh, bless the hearts, y'all. Bless the hearts. So here we go. Just let's not pay attention to that. Oh my God, I feel so bad. So let's just go by the days, and let's just say that this is Friday. We're going to say this is Friday, and we're going to say this is Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and throw those on there. So my apologies, guys. I did not pay attention to that. So now we have the right things there, and I do apologize for that. All right, so our payday's on Friday. Some people it hits on the day before, so on a Thursday. All right, so that's our starting bank balance there. And so as we come down, she didn't do anything. And look at that. Surprisingly, we didn't really go to the grocery store after payday, because apparently we didn't need to. This is why we want to write things down. Okay, so we paid our mortgage and our HOA fee. Now on the 6th, we did go out to Panera Bread. It was a work outing, okay, and we spent $25. Another thing about writing down your monthly expenses is the date you did it, what it was, the category. Makes a big difference to categorize, and the amount, okay, and any extra notes. This I printed from mapleplanner.com. You can also just write this on a sheet of paper, okay? So then we have the YMCA that came out on the 6th as well, and that was for before and after school care. This goes in personal care. Now, not personal care in the essentials, but when we think of categories overall, personal care that actually takes care of any family, personal stuff, medical, things like that, okay? So then we did our Metro Plus, which is the sewer, on the 7th, and it makes a difference in Hulu and Netflix. Those are entertainments. So all of this makes a difference when you write it down. It lets you know how are you spending your money. So they got the child support payment. Look at this. We're going to look at this right here. So remember, we budgeted $150 for for household, but we only spent $75, and we said it's a monthly household. So that's $75 right there that we are getting back to apply towards the bills when we thought we didn't have it. So see how if we write down our transactions for the month, actually write them down, we can see where, oh, you know, I really don't spend that much a month on this. So let me adjust my budget accordingly. Okay. Now we went to Ulta Beauty. That's personal care because that's luxury. It's non-essential, not important. And I put there non-basic. We spent $50. Okay. Now if we're going to Ulta doing all this stuff every month, maybe we want to consider, hey, I don't need to go to Ulta. I got an Ulta shopping habit. And remember when we had grocery up here and we actually did not go to the grocery until the 9th of the month, you know, and then we spent $85. And so we stocked up to get the extra things that we needed. You'd be surprised once you write down transactions, when you write down the transactions, you find out how you really spend your money. Okay. And it also, as you write it down during the month, it also makes you more aware. So there's possibly things you won't do as a result of tracking your transactions. Okay. So we have Shell Station. We finally went to go get some gas. Look, y'all, we didn't go until the 13th of the month to get some gas. And it was $45. And we had budgeted. How much did we budget for gas? For fuel, we budgeted $150. Do we really spend $150 a month? You know, somebody could say, well, after I did that budget, I didn't do a lot of driving. Well, maybe you're exactly right. You need to not take people places and go places and things. Look at that. We went down and out again. We went out again, $35. And we went to Shamrocks this time, another work outing. We might want to monitor how often we're going out with people. Maybe we can do it once a month instead of every time we get paid. Because look at that. It was right at payday that we went out. After payday, I went out with the people at work. On payday, I went. Maybe that's a habit I need to adjust, not do. So see how writing this stuff down helps you, okay? And then another thing that this helps you with, let me take this out, is if you have something like this, even if you just do it on a piece of paper, okay, guys? The nice thing is you can write your balance up at the top. You take this, and you can start up there at the 1735.65, and you subtract the 850. You're going to subtract the 50, 25, 75. You can even do it like a register and have another 25, 10, and put a balance out to the side if you want to. And we're going to add 150. See, look at that, 835. So as we're going through the month, though, even though our budget said this, oops, I was going to show y'all something. Even though our budget said we were in a deficit and we adjusted accordingly, look how we're really spending during the month. This is what makes it good to do and track ourselves. But you got to make sure you're writing everything that occurred in your account and everything you're doing and accounting for all of that. Okay. It is tedious, but it's very beneficial because it helps you really understand your spending. You really get to understand your cash flow, and you get to identify where you have problem areas and how you can fix those problem areas. Because once again, like I said, every time we get paid, we seem to go out on work outings. Maybe I need to adjust that to once a month. You know, you're like, well, that's my treat. Well, you know, right now, I just want to make it through the holidays. You know, I want to make it the next year. I want to do things I want to stop doing things that aren't beneficial to me financially and start getting my debt paid down, stop using things like Klarna and Afterpay. I want to get my finances together. And in order to do that, we have to make some adjustments on our budgets. Okay. I just want to show you guys lastly what I think this goes to. or actually how it all comes about at the end. This is not something you have to do. This is something in the future you can do. What I do monthly is I then take these categories, I highlight them. That's what all this mess is here. I highlight them. So I'm going to take this out. Okay. And then what I do is I then put them in categories. I have 9 categories. I have housing, utilities, transportation, and grocery and household, my 4 walls. Then I have personal, entertainment, miscellaneous, savings and investment, and debt payments. Okay? Debt payments are minimum payments and over minimum payments and pay down payments. We should say that. Okay? So as you see, I go through there, I highlight all that, I put it in its applicable category, and let's look at this. So this is what I say where you can find where your problem areas are. I will say for this month, I went on vacation. So some of these expenses are a little higher as a result of that, and I didn't properly budget for it. Groceries, $240 was what I budgeted, and I spent $732. I actually spent $220 on groceries, right? But remember, I said it includes household and pet care, and I spent $294 out on dining. That right there is the problem. So that's how you find things. When you work to do categories and then you put these subcategories, that's what we call these, under those main categories, you can identify where am I having problems. So guys, I hope you were able to learn something. 1, how to start a quick budget. 2, how to plot it on a calendar. Okay. And then 3, actually writing down and monitoring your transactions for the month, categorizing them so that you are able to see where you can adjust and where you may need to make some actual personal spending habit adjustments. And then 4, categorizing them and comparing it against your budget. Right now, though, do your quick start, plot it on your calendar so you don't feel overwhelmed by looking at this, and then also do your transactions for the month. You will be surprised. I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank you for staying to the end, seeing what I have to offer. If you like this type of content, don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, turn on those notification bells, and I'm going to see you in my next video.